looking everywhere, that's how the story.
Welcome to the Zombie Story Zone, where the world of the undead comes to life like never before. In today's story, we descend into the forgotten depths of the city, beneath the crumbling streets and twisted alleys, where survivors are hiding in the shadow of the apocalypse. It's been 5 years since the world above was lost to the zombie outbreak, and humanity now clings to life in the eerie, silent tunnels of the subway system. But when a strange new behavior emerges among the infected, zombies walking in perfect formation, following cryptic symbols, Mila, one of the city's best mechanics, is drawn into a chilling mystery. Alongside her younger brother Jace and a group of brave survivors, Mila discovers a dark secret buried in the depths. The infected may not be as mindless as everyone thought. They might even be evolving. As the underground city's fragile peace unravels, the survivors must confront not just the monsters in the tunnels, but the terrifying possibility that the real enemy might be something much worse. Stay tuned, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single twist.
Fight or flight will unite as the horror unfolds in the zombie story zone. Adventure never goes on.
Most people believe the world ended above ground. But the truth? It ended down here, deep beneath the city, in the cold, dark subway tunnels where the living still hide from the dead. 5 years ago, the zombie virus took everything. Cities fell. Governments disappeared. Families were torn apart. The surface became a graveyard crawling with the infected. So, the survivors ran. Not up, not out, but down. They turned the abandoned subway system into something new. The underground city. No sunlight, no fresh air, just flickering lights, metal walls, and the distant sound of something scratching in the dark. Mila had lived underground for so long, she barely remembered the sky. She was just a teenager when the outbreak began. Now 26, she was one of the city's best mechanics, and one of the few brave enough to fix things near the edge of the tunnels where the real danger waited. Everyone believed the zombies had no minds, no thoughts, just hunger. But today, something changed. A patrol saw a group of the infected behaving strangely, moving in a line, silent, calm, almost organized. And now, whispers are spreading through the underground city. The zombies aren't dying out, they're evolving. Chapter 1: The Last Train. The subway tunnels had once been full of life. Trains rushing, people talking, lights shining bright. Now, they were quiet, cold, and dark. The only sounds were the low buzz of generators and the distant drip of leaking water. Mila crouched beside a rusty generator near the water station, wiping grease from her fingers. At 26, she was known as one of the best mechanics in the underground city. Her brown hair was pulled back under a cap, and her leather jacket was patched with more repairs than she could count. She had learned how to fix everything, from broken filters to train engines, because survival depended on it. Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind her. Mila! Her younger brother, Jace, called out as he ran up, breathless. He was 14, fast, curious, and always where he shouldn't be. She stood up quickly. What's wrong? Guards just came back from Tunnel 47. They saw something weird. Her eyes narrowed. What kind of weird? They said the zombies were moving together, not chasing or growling, just walking in a line, like soldiers. That doesn't make sense. Zombies don't plan, they don't think. That's what everyone's saying, Jace replied. But Duke saw it himself. He's calling a council meeting right now. You should come. Mila grabbed her crowbar from the wall. She always carried it, even inside the city, just in case. Let's go. As they made their way through the station-turned-settlement, people whispered. Tension was in the air. Something felt off. The underground city was made of old train cars, stacked crates, and broken signs. People had tried to make it feel like home, but fear always lived just beneath the surface. At the far end, the emergency meeting had already begun. Leaders stood around a map, serious and worried. Whatever had happened in Tunnel 47, it wasn't normal. And deep down, Mila feared something worse. The dead were no longer just walking. They were watching. Chapter 2: Strange Behavior. The meeting room was once a subway maintenance office, but now it was the heart of the underground city's leadership. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting pale shadows on a wall-sized map of the subway system. The smell of old oil and dust filled the air. Mila and Jace slipped in quietly. Reed, the leader of the city, stood at the front. His broad shoulders and fire-scarred hands told the story of a man who had fought to keep people alive. Around him stood Nina, the biologist, Duke, the head of security, and a few trusted scouts. Reed pointed at Tunnel 47 on the map. About 4 hours ago, our patrol witnessed something new. 5 infected, moving in formation. In formation? Mila asked. Like military? Duke stepped forward. His face was grim, jaw tight. Not random wandering. They walked in a single-file line, same pace, no sound, no snarling, no fighting. That's not how the infected behave. Jace shifted nervously beside Mila. That's not all, Duke added. He unrolled a long piece of paper filled with charcoal sketches. We found these on the tunnel walls, freshly scratched in. Symbols. The drawings were crude but deliberate, triangles with eyes in the center, repeating spirals, circles within squares. What do they mean? Someone whispered. Nina adjusted her glasses. I've been studying their movements for years. These aren't just marks. They might be language, a form of communication. Mila shook her head. But they're dead, rotting, brainless. Nina looked at her. Maybe not all of them. Reed turned to the group. We can't ignore this. If the infected are changing, thinking, we need to know how and fast. We send a small team, no guns, quiet only. Track them, observe them, and report back. A silence fell. I'll go, Mila said. Jace raised his hand. Me too. Mila shot him a glare. No, you're staying. Jace stepped forward. I've been in those tunnels. I'm fast, I can fit through vents, and you'll need someone to watch your back. Reed looked at them both, then slowly nodded. They work well together. Let them go. Mila didn't argue. Something told her they were going to find more than they bargained for. Into the dark. Night in the underground city was always dark, but the tunnels beyond its borders were darker still, pitch black and filled with unknown dangers. Mila tightened the straps on her backpack and checked the sharp edge of her crowbar. Beside her, Jace adjusted his flashlight, trying to hide how nervous he was. With them were 2 others. A former subway worker who knew the tunnel layout better than anyone, and Leah, a calm and steady nurse trained to treat wounds with almost nothing. No loud talking, Mila reminded them. No lights unless necessary. We follow the infected and observe. If anything goes wrong, we fall back to Checkpoint Echo. Everyone nodded. They set out into Tunnel 47, stepping beyond the last barrier of the safe zone. The smell hit them first, mildew, rust, and something foul that always followed the infected. The silence was heavy. Their boots echoed softly against the cracked cement as they followed a trail of fresh scratches on the wall, those strange symbols again, now glowing faintly with a green moss-like substance. After nearly an hour of walking, Ty whispered, "There." Up ahead, 5 zombies shuffled forward, their backs hunched, skin pale and torn. But they weren't like the others. They didn't groan or lurch. They walked in a perfect line, step by step, moving as one. "They're not chasing anything," Leah murmured. "What are they doing?" Suddenly, the lead zombie stopped. Its head turned sharply toward them. Mila froze. So did everyone else. The zombie looked straight into the darkness, right at them. Then, it did something none of them expected. It smiled. Mila's breath caught in her throat. The creature turned and vanished into a side tunnel, the others following behind it like shadows. "We follow," Mila whispered. They crept after the group, deeper into the tunnel system than anyone from the underground city had gone in years. The walls were tighter here, the air warm and damp. As they turned a final corner, they found themselves in a wide chamber, lit by flickering train lights strung from the ceiling like lanterns. And what they saw made every one of them freeze in place. Zombies. Dozens, maybe hundreds, stood in silence. And they were building something. Chapter 4. The Truth Beneath. Mila had seen many things since the fall of the world. Blood, death, monsters. But nothing prepared her for what she saw in that hidden chamber. The zombies weren't groaning. They weren't attacking. They were working, lifting metal beams, stacking crates, etching symbols into the walls. Some used rusted tools. Others moved cables from old train cars and carefully wrapped them around glowing orbs made of scrap. "What is this?" Ty whispered. "They're building something," Leah said softly, eyes wide. "But why?" Before anyone could speak again, one of the zombies turned toward them. Its skin was pale gray, hanging loosely on its bones. Half its face was torn, showing part of its jaw. But its eyes, milky white, locked directly onto Mila's. The creature walked toward them. Everyone raised their weapons, but the zombie did not attack. It stopped a few feet away, lifted a hand, and in a voice raspy and broken, spoke. "You should not have come." Mila's blood went cold. "It can talk." Jace backed up. "That's not possible." The zombie pointed to the far wall. Photos, newspaper clippings, and broken screens were nailed there, an old collection of truth. One headline read, "Secret bioweapon testing facility discovered beneath city subway." Another, Project Echo, genetic research on live subjects confirmed. Years ago, the zombie rasped, "We were human. Chosen, taken, changed." Leah stepped forward, stunned. "Your test subjects." The creature nodded slowly. "Not all became mindless. Some of us adapted." Ty whispered, "They weren't just infected, though. They were made." Mila felt sick. "You were prisoners." "Yes," the creature said. "They made us monsters. Now we survive, deep below, away from your kind." Another sound filled the chamber. Alarms, distant but growing louder. A voice crackled faintly through Mila's radio. "This is Duke. Bravo team, respond. Charges are armed. We're collapsing Tunnel 47 in 10 minutes. Get out!" "No," Mila yelled into the radio. "Stop. There are survivors here, thinking ones." The zombie stepped back. "You brought death again. Let us help you," Mila pleaded. "We can stop the blast." The creature didn't answer. Instead, it pointed to a dark corridor. "Go," it said. "Save who you can. We will not be buried again." Mila turned to her team. "Move, now." And behind them, the hidden city of the Forgotten began to tremble. Chapter 5, Countdown to Collapse. Mila led the charge down the narrow corridor, her boots pounding the ground as the rumble of distant explosives echoed behind them. The tunnel lights flickered violently. Dust rained down from the ceiling with every tremor. Jace struggled to keep up. "Are they really going to bring the whole tunnel down?" "Yes," Mila said, breathless. "They think we found a nest. They don't know the truth." Behind them, Ty looked back toward the chamber they'd left. "We have to go back. We can't let them destroy." "We don't have time," Leah snapped. "They won't listen unless we show them proof." Mila skidded to a stop at a service hatch. "This way, emergency access tunnel. It leads back to Sector C." She slammed the wheel, pulling the heavy door open with a groan. One by one, they crawled through. As Mila shut the door behind them, another explosion boomed. The floor quaked beneath their feet. "They're already setting charges near the city wall," Leah warned. The narrow tunnel was barely wide enough to stand in. Mold clung to the walls. They moved quickly, ducking low pipes and dodging loose cables. Mila's mind raced. They were test subjects, engineered. The infection wasn't natural. And now, their chance to learn more, to stop this, was being buried. Suddenly, Jace tripped. Mila turned, helping him up, only to see what he'd stumbled over. A black box, partially hidden in a pile of rubble. She picked it up. A blinking red light. A drive. Leah's eyes widened. "That's a data core, from the lab." Mila tucked it into her bag. "Then this is our proof." They pushed through the last section of tunnel and emerged into Sector C just as Duke's men began sealing the gates. "Stop," Mila yelled. "We made contact. They spoke to us." Duke's eyes went wide. "That's not possible." "We have evidence." Mila held up the drive. "They're not just zombies, they're survivors. Experiments. We've been fighting victims." The council began to gather, drawn by her shouting. Reed stepped forward, eyes locked on the drive. "Open the gates," he said quietly. "Let them through." As Mila and her team stumbled in, covered in dust and ash, sirens wailed in the background, warning of aftershocks and collapse. But Mila knew something deeper had just shifted. They hadn't escaped a city of monsters. They had left behind a city of the Forgotten, intelligent, organized, and possibly ready to fight back. As tensions rise and dark truths begin to shake the underground city. The council room buzzed with disbelief. Mila stood in the center, dirt-streaked and still shaking from the collapse. The black data drive sat on the table like a bomb waiting to explode. Nina, the city's biologist, connected it to an old terminal salvaged from the ruins of the surface world. The screen crackled to life, blinking blue as files began to load. Video logs, lab reports, military memos. Everyone leaned in. The first video played, grainy footage of a white room. A man in a lab coat stood beside a restrained patient, young, terrified, shaking. This is Subject 27B. Initial infection shows signs of neurological enhancement, the scientist said, voice cold and detached. Higher brain activity remains. Coordination intact, aggression controlled. The screen shifted. More patients, more tests, screams, needles, metal restraints, gasps filled the room. Jace looked away, sick to his stomach. They created it, Mila whispered. The virus. It didn't escape. It was released. Reed's jaw clenched. Why would anyone do this? For control, Nina said quietly. To build soldiers that don't feel pain, that obey without question. But they failed. No, Mila corrected her. They succeeded, just not the way they planned. The council fell silent. Some of the infected, Mila continued, they adapted. Not just physically, mentally. They remember who they were. They're building something. They have symbols, language, structure. You're saying we've been hunting people, one council member said, horrified. Not people, Duke muttered. Something in between. Mila turned to Reed. We have to reach out to them, before they think we're their enemy. Reed folded his arms. We buried part of their world today. They may already see us that way. A soft beep interrupted the conversation. Another file opened, this one different. A personal video log, marked with a name. Dr. Elias Vorn, lead virologist. The man appeared on screen, pale and tired. If you're seeing this, I'm probably dead. The infection spread faster than we thought, but it didn't destroy the mind. Not completely. Some of them evolved. Some even led. One of them, Subject 27B, he's organizing others. He's not just a survivor, he's the future. Mila's eyes widened. That was the one who spoke to them, and now they knew his name. Subject 27B, Elias. As the dust settled in the collapsed tunnels, Mila and her team were hailed as heroes, truth-tellers who had exposed the darkest secret beneath their feet. The council began to question everything they thought they knew about the infected, and deep within the ruined passages, something stirred. The survivors, those once labeled monsters, were not dead. They were watching, waiting. Weeks later, another symbol appeared on the wall just outside the underground city. Not scratched, but painted with precision. A single message beneath it, written in clear human letters, we remember. And that's where our story ends, for now. But what lies ahead? Are the infected building a civilization of their own? Are they planning revenge or a new beginning? And most importantly, who's really the monster in this world? In the war between survivors and the evolved dead, the line between man and monster is growing thinner each day. Thanks for watching The Zombie Story Zone, where every outbreak has a story and every survivor has a secret. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next chapter might be closer than you think. Until then, stay underground and stay alive.
In the shadows of the night, where the moonlight glows, the zombies lurking everywhere, that's how the story goes. Grab your gear, hold on tight, it's a wild